All right, this is probably gonna lose me, people, but whatever. I gotta address because we're taking on being smart and preparing and planning for what's come. I gotta talk about this QAnon bullshit. Um, there is no plan. Every time somebody tells me there's a plan and it doesn't go according to that plan, there's a plan, there's a plan, there's a plan. There is no fucking plan. The plan was supposed to be Donald Trump in office, and now they're saying that he's going to sign the Insurrection Act and the Pope is arrested and shit. These tweets are getting fucking ridiculous. There is no plan. He conceded. He's out. He's even talking about Biden administration fucking having to deal with fucking problems. Stop focusing on that conspiratorial bullshit and start focusing on the conspiratorial bullshit that's actually real. Like the Great Reset, the shit that's in front of your face, the shit that the government's talking about, the shit that they've revealed to us. We can't focus on that shit, man. It's obviously lame, it's obviously bullshit, and it's obviously garbage. Because it never works. It never goes towards that plan. Ever. That plan is never like it's always failed, always failed, always failed. Hillary's not in prison. Where is this plan? How is it being implemented? No, we need to start preparing for ourselves, planning for ourselves, preparing what we're going to do. Draw lines in the sand, choose sides, not choose a side. Go out and be, because some people the last time they sat it out. The same thing with the Civil War. They sat it out. You got to start thinking about these things. And then you get the Mel Gibson's The Patriot. Of course, that's like movies are dramatized or whatever. Like he's a amalgamation of a couple of different revolutionary figures. But sometimes you can plan, but you're gonna get plans. You're gonna get pulled into the war anyway. But you have to have these plans in place. He didn't have a plan in place. He thought it was just going to work, and he got dragged in and lost his house and family and had to fight. It might happen to you. It might not happen to you. But you have to prepare for it. You have to have your food, water, and shelter plans in place. You have to have your bug out plan in place. You have to have your means to defend yourself, your means to self-sustain. You have to have all of this in place because if they accomplish the Great Reset or we go to rebellion, there's going to be economic crash or economic collapse. And self-sustainability and being able to prepare, defend yourself, it's going to be important. It's just, it really is. It's going to be important, and it's only going to continue to get worse. Some people, my cousin just tried to tell me Signal was Big Brother, so I know I said use Signal or Telegram, but maybe not. If somebody knows about these apps, let me know. Can they be intercepted or communicated, or like how their TOS works? Or somebody, it will link me to their TOS, and I can read it themselves, because I'd like to know, because we have to have a new communication system going, because they're disrupting our communications because they're planning something big and they don't want us communicating and preparing to defend against it. That's the only reason why you disrupt communications. Unless they want us to fight, I don't see. I think that's what they're gonna do. They're fighting. I hope I'm wrong. But China's doing military beaching drills, and it really does seem like this is gonna happen. It's sad. It sucks, but we're here. It's time to really get into it and stop being stupid. And I need my coffee. It sucks. We're the greatest country in the history of Earth, and I had no idea. Like, this is not what I thought I would be talking about in my late 30s after serving in the like. No, I thought I'd be looking for a wife, having children and whatnot, drinking Mai Tais and chilling. Instead, I'm training for war and talking to you about stupid censorship. We are too divided. And everybody's like, you got one side saying the military will be with us, and you have the other side, the military will help us. And the thing is, they're both right. You're both right. You're both wrong. The military is just as divided as the rest of, like, all of our institutions are. We are divided pretty much down the middle, not by territory or landmass, but by ideology. And we're so divided that we have a constitutional crisis. And having a constitutional convention without dealing with the authoritarian government will give us authoritarian government. So we can't even do the peaceful means of settling a constitutional crisis without fixing the problem that we have, which we can't do without a constitutional crisis. You see what I'm doing? War is going to be inevitable. Rebellion is going to be inevitable. We have to unfuck the federal government before a constitutional convention will serve the people. Before we can reach another compromise, it is the way it is. I've been thinking about it because I was like, hey, we'll just reach a compromise anyway and to prevent the death. But the thing is, if our Congress, the current Congress, is allowed to make that compromise, it's not going to be a constitutional convention. It's not going to be a compromise. It's going to be a bend the right over and fuck them in the ass. It's going to be the left completely wins. So I think war is inevitable at this point. I keep saying that. I really wish it wasn't. But I do think that you got to be wary about traps. The Capitol Police opened and let those BLM Antifa people in, and the other stupid ass people followed them. And then they shut down the thing, and nobody could even agree for Trump. Nobody could even address the election concerns. They're going to do it again in the Capitol. They're going to do it again until they can label you a terrorist. They come kick down your doors. PBS fired a guy, said that he wasn't high up in the chain. And we'll get into that in the next segment because we're near the end of this one. But yeah, we'll just say there's companies are firing people for calling people to put our children in concentration camps and re-education camps with Sesame Street characters. With no qualms about saying it. That's some crazy ass shit. What makes you think normal people want to hear some of that crazy ass shit? And we'll get into that here in a minute. I just can't wrap my mind around how emboldened these idiots are becoming. And it's time for us to grab our cojones and become emboldened too, because we're not going to win. This is their war. They've already started the battlefield. They've already set the rules of engagement. If you think we can beat it by playing by our rules, you are wrong. It's time to start. We're not even playing the same games. That's why we keep losing. It's time to figure out what the game really is, learn what the rules are, and act accordingly. I'm just saying.